Good afternoon and welcome to Scrapbooking with a Twist. I was looking on my channel the other day and it was like, oh my goodness, I still have followers, even though it's been so long since I've made a scrapbook layout or a card. Today, we're going to just do this little card. You could use it as a Valentine card if you wanted to, but wouldn't have to. I'm going to show you some options so that it doesn't have that kind of sentiment on it, but it's pretty cute, and I think it could be used for a lot of different occasions. So I'm going to show that to you. The background, the one I'm doing is on kind of a coral because this stripe in this is kind of a coral. So my card base is going to be that coral. You just have to be real careful to be sure that you get the type right side up because this has like a little newspaper type behind it, and I wouldn't want to put it out with it upside down. So I do have to kind of watch that. I was going to show you where this came from. You could use any background, including a solid would be cute too. But I got this paper pad. It's so old, I don't even have the cover on it anymore, and I've used so much of it. I'm just nearly positive that it was from Hobby Lobby, but I have 6 little grandsons that camp and fish and do all kinds of things, and so it was perfect for scrapbooking for them with the different little camping scenes and just the neutral stripes, that type of thing. It worked out really well. The owls are cute. I haven't used that much. I used some of this red for Christmas. There's a couple in here that are just like that one. I've used it a lot. Grandsons, little stinkers type things. And then there's a cloud, a grass, and then this one that I've used a lot of. And this one, that's all I have, is this part of one page of it, and then a couple of pages left of this. But I've used it a lot, but I think it's just a Hobby Lobby Paper Studio, but I've used it a lot. It's lightweight. It's not like flimsy like some of them are, but it's pretty lightweight, but it works well. So we're just doing an A2 card today, so I took an 8.5 by 11 and cut it down to 5.5 by 4 1/4. And so just a regular A2, and then this is just 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I inked. I've already done a little bit of this to try to speed it up just a little, and you're going to have to just forgive my chipped nails. I've already inked the edges with, I believe, yes, it was Vintage Photo. I inked the edges with Vintage Photo. So let's go ahead and put our thing together here, our piece that's going to go on the actual cardstock, because if you build it all and then try to put it on there, it gets a little difficult sometimes. You can do it, especially with liquid glue. It goes on pretty easy, but we'll do it this way today. It's best if I stand up and view this from the top to try to get that on there somewhat straight. Oh, that's definitely not straight. I better do. Like I said, it's been so long since I've done a video. I may not be able to do it. It's terrible to wait this long. We may just leave it crooked for the purposes of, oh, well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right, so I think we can live with that. So I want to show you this. This is a little stamp and die set that is from Photoplay. And I made the little bear from this, and so you get the stamp and the die. I'll be using the leaf, and then here's the little insert that comes with it. It has I moose you for I miss you, I'm nuts about you, I love you very much. So it has some really cute little sentiments in with it, and I just love these. They work so cute on cards. And so today we're going to use this little bear, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp him just in case some of you are not used to using a stamping tool or something. Most of you are very experienced card makers, but just in case, we're gonna go ahead and stamp him. And I am going to use this little sentiment, I miss you, but it's I moose you. I should have put the moose on here, but to do this one with, but I'm gonna do this anyway because I just wanted to have a sentiment from there. So let's put that on that little oval. And I should have put that magnet on that, and I didn't. We'll try that. I'm going to use my Onyx Black VersaFine ink. Ink those up. Let's see how they do. You can use a Kleenex or a paper towel, or if you don't, some of the little people have the little Chucky tools, but you can, if your finger wants to stick to your stamping tool, just use a Kleenex or something to help you go smoother. Okay, then I'm gonna leave that. I may not use that, but I'm gonna restamp the little bear. I was pretty light-handed just so it didn't smear, but I was a little too light-handed with it. This just helps you move smoother over your stamping tool. That looks good. And then I'm gonna show you what I painted him with. And then I probably will just use the one that I already have made over here. But I wanted to show you, there's the die cuts. You've got the little moose, the little fox on the stump, the doe and the fawn, the bear, and then a couple of leaves on that die cut, along with your little sentiments and the stamps that go with those. I've used it so much. I love it. I think one of my favorite stamp and die sets. So for this, I'm just going to very lightly do a little watercolor look here. Let's see what pumice stone looks like. See if that's dark enough to make him show up a little. See what color that turns out. I don't remember what color I did these with. I did these a long time ago. And we make cards every month, and those of you who watch my videos know we do cards every month for our shut-ins at church. Let's see what that looks like. That's okay, I guess. Let's try vintage photo. See what that looks like. I think it may have a little more brown where that one was more gray. I think I want to pick up the brown with this bear. Yes, I think that's more the color I want. So we're just going to come in and lightly watercolor him. And the beauty of this is that you can move it around if it's too dark or too light or too thick. And believe you me, I am not a painter or an artist in any sense of the word. But what that proves to me is that anyone can do this. You can just keep moving it. Until you get it kind of the way you want it. And this little bear doesn't need to be perfect. That's the good thing about these little stamp sets. They're not meant to be perfect, and it's not the artwork. The kind of more primitive and everything that he is, the cuter he is. So let's give a tiny bit more water there. This is not watercolor paper. It's just plain cardstock, not even real heavy cardstock. We are having an ice storm and a snowstorm, so it's a perfect day to scrapbook or make cards. I love these days for this. I'm going to do him a little darker, and then I'm going to try to come in for his arms and his tummy, his feet, the parts, his nose, and kind of try to maybe do them just a little lighter, maybe with the same vintage photo, or I may try another color. Do you see, he isn't perfect, but he will be cute as he can be on that card. Okay, let's see what frayed burlap looks like. See if it might be just a little lighter to do the rest of him. I'm going to kind of move a little bit of this around. It's kind of, and if you get, if you get it pretty wet, it may warp a little bit on you, but it isn't enough. I've gotten them pretty wet, and it's not enough that it does anything. Yes, I think that'll work for his little tummy and his arms. It's just a little lighter. Than that vintage photo was. And you can blend it out. Just put a little more water on it to blend it out. Don't be afraid to try. Like I said, I am so not artistic. Crafty, maybe. Artistic, no. And I want to touch his little nose and mask up here, maybe the insides of his ears with that. But it's just a little lighter than that vintage photo, and so it has a little contrast. Oops, I forgot his feet. And you want to stay inside the lines if you possibly can, just because you're going to die cut, and those die cuts have that little white edge around them. And so you want to try to stay in the lines the best you can, because it would be in that little white edge. Okay, so that's all of that. So let's put that aside. And so easy to kind of watercolor. You could use watercolor pencils, you could use Copic markers, you could use anything you want. But that's what I used on this one. And it's also what I used on this one that I already have done. And the thing I am going to do though is I think I'm going to use maybe the frayed burlap. And I want to go around the edges where the die cut leaves that little white edge. I want to go around the edges and just touch that up. It just helps to blend it in with the rest of your little character and not have that just kind of bold white border on it. So there we go. There's our little bear. Now to lay out our card, I have several trees that I've already cut out, and I'll show you the set that I used. I don't know for sure what trees these are. I just used 2 different trees in a couple of different colors. I did a couple of the smaller tree. Actually, I think I did 4 of the smaller tree and 1 of this little bit larger tree. And I just have my trees all on this magnetic board, and I usually stick where they're from. So the two like this that are over there in the long kind of tree scene are a Tim Holtz, but I do not have what these trees are. So sometimes when I order them like off of Amazon or something, they don't have what they are, and maybe that's the case, I'm not sure. But I just want to build this little tree scene, so I'm going to start, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just kind of start sticking these little trees in there to offset them and just to get them where they build a little scene. Nothing too regular about it. These 2 are the same color. I just inked this one more just to give it a little bit different color so it would show up against that one. And then I'm going to put my bear here kind of just to the right of center. So let's see what he'll cover, like the bottom of that tree. I don't want them to look too perfectly staggered, but we're going to do something similar to that, and then we're going to put our little bear right in there. Got some foam tape here that we will use to do that with. So let's just kind of move these to the side and start with these. So start with some foam tape on this one. I don't want that foam tape to show, so I need to trim it down just a little. And it doesn't take much. You can, I mean, this couple of pieces, I may stick a tiny little piece up the top. These, I made these cards for our church group, and they did not bend over and everything. The cardstock is pretty good. They didn't bend and look like they weren't adhered good. So it just doesn't take much. You don't have to put it all over the back. So let's put this first one down and we'll just build off of it. Kind of go right up to the edge of the card on this side. Then let's go ahead and kind of tuck this one in, and we may have to raise this one up. Now this one's going to be flat back here. We may have to pull this one up a little. I didn't push it down real hard, so I think we'll put that one flat. Right back in behind there. And then we'll do this one also on foam tape. That's kind of slick. This one is just like those other two that we've used so far. Like I said, I used, I think, 4 of these smaller trees and just 1 of the larger one. I may need to cut that one down just a tiny bit. Okay, and we will place this one just to kind of keep these staggered so that they don't look too planned, more like nature would do them. This one up just a little. Somewhere maybe right in there. Okay. And then we're going to put this one over here and this one up in here. So let's go ahead and get this one that we're going to do flat down. I want it up so that none of them are the exact same height. These two may be close, but that's okay. So back to our foam tape here on this bigger tree. And then we'll get our bear on there. Like I said, I've been sitting here this afternoon just watching it snow and sleet. I love these days. The dogs are laying in front of the fireplace. I have my music going, and it's just one of those perfect scrapbook days. And then I get to feeling guilty because I know that because I absolutely love this kind of weather. And then I get to feeling guilty because I know that there are people and animals and that are not in a warm, cozy home and comfortable. And I've had hot chocolate and all kinds of stuff. And I know that there are people that just are not as blessed as I am. And so I feel bad for them. Okay, now the bear, I did put more tape on. He's going to be on the top layer. Now, I did not double his tape because I tried it on one that I did, and it just didn't need it to put 2 layers of the foam tape. Even though these are all on that same level, it still worked better to just put him on the same level. So we put our little fella right there. Well, don't think he's standing straight. There he is. Okay, so we've got our little scene pretty well built. Now we're going to do a sentiment, and I'm going to show you a couple of options on those sentiments. Let's see, I may need to grab another oval since I stamped that one and didn't like it. Okay, so here's another oval that we have. Now, I've got several options. This one, like you know, I'm making it for church. And so I've got a little sentiment that's a stamp that I have that says, "May his amazing love touch your heart." But if you don't want a religious type sentiment, there are several options that, I mean, just any option would be cute. I cut out hugs, and I thought that was kind of cute on top of even though the cream colored oval, even though it's larger, it still looks cute on the card. And then I also did loved, because I think this is I think this could be cute for a Valentine, but it could be cute for any kind of card. There's the loved that I cut out with my die cuts. And you could do it with or without. Let me put this up here. Let me just lay it up here. You could do it with or without the cream colored oval. There's hugs without the oval. There's loved without the cream colored oval. And I'm going to kind of offset my ovals so that they're not exactly spaced, just because I think it adds a little interest. And there is hugs done with it under it, or loved. And I kind of like the loved, just personally. I liked the loved over the oval, but I like the hugs not over the oval. Now, I am going to ink these. Everything is kind of inked and, you know, distressed looking, so I am going to ink the edges, and I think I'm going to use the frayed burlap for that. The vintage photo or the frayed burlap, I think either one would be really good for this. But I want it light, so I'm gonna use the frayed burlap. It's a little lighter and isn't quite as red as the vintage photo. The vintage photo has just a tiny bit more red in it, where this is a little bit more taupe. And my little bear is kind of the taupe color. So getting all the way around this. And then, like I said, I'm not going to evenly space them. You certainly could, and it would look just as cute. But I am going to kind of offset it just to add a little bit of interest. So there is that one. And then I think I am going to do the hugs on this. And even though I cut that cinnamon in black, I just was cutting them to show you. You might want to do it in a brown, like a chocolate brown. You could use your gray to do your edges, and then you could do the black. Either way, even the black with this though still looks cute. So let's just, I'm not going to go all the way out to the edges because it is actually bigger than my oval, so I'm just going to touch it around here. It isn't much bigger, but it's a little bigger. And that is Nouveau Deluxe, so with that little splotch there that I got of glue on there will dry absolutely clear and matte, so it won't even show. And then here is the other one that I'm going to do the loved on. Just around those edges. And my daughter called a while ago, or texted me a while ago. She is the principal for an online, TEA online charter school. And she texted me a while ago and she said, the boys are out of school, but I'm not. Can you keep boys tomorrow? So they'll be coming over in just a little while to spend the night with me and stay with me tomorrow since they're out of school for bad weather day. It's hard for her to work. She has 4 little boys, and like in 3 years, we have some that are a couple that are adopted, and so it's almost like having 2 sets of twins, and it is really hard for her to work when all 4 of them are at home. So I will get a couple of them, and we will probably make some cards, and we'll have some hot chocolate, and we will do all kinds of things. I love having them. We have a good time. And, of course, they play Nintendo, all that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to set this one at the bottom, just for that little kind of interest. So there you've got 3 different ways you could do your sentiment. I'm going to slant it up here, and I'm going to put it on some foam tape. Now, this is scrapbooking with a twist, and so I always give you the twist. I do this for more than one reason. I do it because I love to make cards, I love to scrapbook, but I also love to share my faith. And so today, the scripture that I'm going to share with you is Proverbs 3:3 and 4. And it says, "Let love and faithfulness never leave you, and bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man." You know, what a neat, what a neat scripture. Just to say that we need to be sure that we always have love and faithfulness. Love for our fellow man, faithfulness to God, kindness, a kind heart, a loving heart. And when we live like that, we gain favor with man and with God. So pretty good thought for the day. Now, we're going to finish this little card up with a heart. So if you wanted to leave the heart off and do this as a birthday card or a I miss you card or just checking on you, you could do that, but I like the little heart. Now, there are 2 options. I just had a little heart punch, and I punched them and put them on a glue dot, and then I ran across some little puffy hearts. And so I decided that I was going to use the little puffy heart on this one. And I'm going to put that little heart right up there on our little fella. But either way, whether you use the little punched out heart or whether you used the little puffy heart, it doesn't matter. Or if you use a heart at all. Another thought that I had that I may do on some later is I have some grass, and I thought I might do a die cut of the grass and put it down there. But I put this one on here. I think any one of these are cute, or anything that you have. You could use any background, any tree dies, or cut them from your Cricut or your Silhouette. Just cut some trees to make your little background. And the little heart, you could find a bear. I just happen to have these die cuts and this die and stamp set. Now also I have these sentiments on here, and they're ready to go, and I put them on the inside. Most people don't put a lot of sentiments on the inside of their card, but like I said, we use these for our shut-ins, and so I do usually put one on the inside of the card. But that's our card for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll give you some little bit close-up shots maybe. It's hard for me to see what you're seeing, but anyway, there's our card. And I hope you have a great day. Stay in, stay safe if you're in this weather, and God bless. And hopefully I will see you very soon and not be so long. Have a great day.